20 years ago, a new political party quietly entered the scene in Quebec. Or maybe not so quietly. Formed by activists and politicians, Qubec Solidaire was labeled a grassroots movement, focused on social justice, feminism, the environment, and a new idea: no formal leaders, just spokespeople. Always one woman, one man. The party successfully took this progressive mindset from the streets through the doors of Quebec's National Assembly. But 20 years later, something's changed. The momentum that carried Qubec Solidaire over the last 2 decades has stalled. And as we head towards a 2026 provincial election, we wanted to know, is there still a raison d'être for a party that once saw itself as Quebec's future?
On peut compter sur votre appui?
Bien sûr.
Oui.
Merci beaucoup.
I'm on Avenue Mont-Royal in Montreal's Plateau neighborhood because it was here in the riding of Mercier that Quebec Solidaire's dreams went from the grassroots to the government. In 2008, voters here made Amir Kadir Quebec Solidaire's first MNA.
We were happy just as if we have won the election and were in power. That was so incredible for a lot of us. We were at the helm of important social movements that had gained momentum in Quebec. The feminist movement. Also, we saw the rise of the anti-war movement. When social movements are strong, a party or a political movement as is Quebec Solidaire has room and air to grow.
In 2012, Quebec Solidaire added a second MNA with co-spokesperson Françoise David. 2 years later, Manon Massé made it 3.
I put all my heart to have this political party rise.
Massé later became party co-spokesperson alongside a man who helped take the party a step further. Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois, one of the faces of the 2012 Maple Springs student strikes, joined the party in 2017, taking the retiring David's seat in a by-election and bringing many young voters with him. At the same time, Quebec Solidaire benefited from rising interest in environmental issues.
Quebec Solidaire is clearly in Quebec politics perceived to be the party best able to handle environmental issues. So the issue of environment clearly contributed to the rise of Quebec Solidaire.
In the 2018 election, a breakthrough.
We saw the map, the orange line of the metro in Montreal was really propice for Quebec Solidaire. They won Laurier-Dorion and Mercier and Gouin, and then they expanded to Rosemont and Hochelaga-Maisonneuve.
Add in seats in Quebec City and elsewhere, and Quebec Solidaire expanded to 10, becoming the third largest party in the National Assembly. And in 2022, that number grew to 11, with the party coming second in terms of overall votes.
But there's also the question of who is Quebec Solidaire in 2026?
According to polls in early 2026, if an election were held, Quebec Solidaire is projected only to win a handful of seats.
I know that we have challenges. We always have challenges as a left party because it's a miracle to have a political party like Quebec Solidaire.
But what's behind this? Well, some say that having a presence in the National Assembly and its inner workings for long enough has distanced the party from its activist roots.
Quebec Solidaire kind of fell prey to a process which is very common for upstart left-wing parties, which is professionalization, modernization, playing the kind of political marketing game just like any other party.
It's not easy because once you're in the National Assembly, there is a mechanic that drags all your energy in those institutional activities which are legitimate.
Another major problem for Quebec Solidaire, according to those who follow this closely, is one policy decision: to go all in on Quebec becoming its own country.
The decision of the leadership to focus on independence or sovereignty over the left-wing and progressive agenda has made it difficult for them to be relevant when the PQ is obviously dominating that issue because it's their natural issue. It's the party's raison d'être.
It also hasn't helped that the party has lost its most recognizable faces.
People in the past used to see Françoise David, Amir Kadir together for a long period of time. Now and after that, Manon Massé and Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois.
It's going to be a new team for Quebec Solidaire that shows up for the 2026 election. And so far, the numbers are quite poor.
And finally, perhaps most importantly, Quebec Solidaire has been a victim of larger political trends, with economy in the front seat and environment in the back.
Channeled by economic tensions, Canada-US tensions.
So what does this mean for the upcoming provincial election? Well, some say it's about limiting damage.
I think it's possible they could save face, but time will tell.
Of course, the party's former and current leaders are singing another tune, saying that Quebec Solidaire still has a part to play.
That Quebec Solidaire is more relevant than ever because of the rising ultra-right everywhere. We are at an emergency situation all around the world. Rising, conservative, extreme right, some would say neo-fascist or fascist ideas, not only in the United States, all over.
Important that in Quebec we don't think that we are protected against this movement.
We are a lot of people who believe in this political project. We have to choose it, and that's why I'm still fighting with Quebec Solidaire.